Hello friends and welcome to YouTube channel Freedom Tech. And in this session what we are going to learn? In this session we are going to create our own custom object detection model for YOLO8, and with the help of our custom model we are going to detect custom vehicle class. Also we are going to create a counter. So before we move to our practical, friends, if you learned something from our videos, please consider to subscribe our channel. Okay friends, thank you so much. And let's get started. So friends, as I mentioned, today we are going to create our own custom vehicle class detected model for YOLO8. For that, just open Thony Python IDE. We are going to first install a packages, then go to the tools, manage packages, and we need opencv-python. Just hit enter. First package, then click on install button and it will install opencv-python. This is Windows 11 machine. Of course you can use here Windows 10 machine also. Then we need ultralytics for YOLO8. So just type ultralytics, click on search on PyPy, or you can simply hit enter, and then ultralytics, the first package, just install, and that's it, we have done. Now we need a CV zone package for putting our text on the frame. So search for CV zone, hit enter, first package CV zone, then just click install, and that's it. We install our all packages. We have done with opencv-python, we have installed ultralytics, and we also install CV zone package. That's it. Now for today's session, I have created a new repository. I will mention the link inside the description box. You need to simply copy paste the link inside the browser, then go to the code and download zip format folder, the repository. So we download our repository. Now simply open file manager, downloads. This is what the folder, right click and then WinRAR and click on extract to the folder name. It will extract with our folder name. So as you can see, this is what our folder, again same folder, and inside that we have all our files. So first we need our video file, our scenario. So vid.txt, just copy the mega cloud link, open the browser, open new tab, press just Ctrl+V and hit enter. It will open our mega cloud link where we have our video. So this is what our video file, click on download and then it will download our video file. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully downloaded our video file cv.mp4. So let's just close all these text files from here, and then let me close mega cloud link. And now if we go back, downloads, this is what our video file cv.mp4, right click, cut, and we are going to simply move our video file inside our main repository, which is YOLO8-custom vehicle. Just paste it. Let's just watch our video. So friends, as you can see, this is what our scenario, where we have a vehicle which basically moving downside and upside. So as I mentioned, in this scenario, as you can see, we have auto-rikshaw. So auto-rikshaw is the class which we are going to train, because YOLO8 by default model which basically not detect auto-rikshaw. It will detect car, it will detect truck, it will detect bus, motorcycle, bicycle, but it will not train for detecting a vehicle class like auto-rikshaw. So for that we are going to create our own custom vehicle detection model, and we are going to train our model for our own custom class. So first one is basically auto-rikshaw, then the next one is motorcycle, and then if I start the video file, as you can see, we have your auto-rikshaw, then we have your motorcycle, and then as you can see, this person is basically riding the bicycle, and there is a car, and again there is an auto-rikshaw. So we are going to basically create our own custom vehicle detection model which detect auto-rikshaw, motorcycle, bicycle, car. This is the classes which we are going to train. Okay, simple. So this is our video file, and then we are going to simply count the vehicle frequency, means how many auto-rickshaw is basically going, let's just say this is the upside, or we can say this is downside, or this is upside. So we are going to count how many vehicles basically moving downside, also how many vehicle is basically moving upside. Simple. So for that, first we want our own custom model. This is what our video file, our scenario. Simple. So let me close. So for that, first we want our images. We are going to simply use our video file, our source file, for image collection. Simple. So for that, I have created here img.py. As you can see, img.py. So let's just open img.py with the help of our Thony Python IDE. And this code will basically use our video file, and it will create a number of images from our video file. So for this, I have mentioned here 200 images. You can simply change the number of the images as per your scenario, as per your requirement. And then our video file name is basically cv.mp4. So we want to mention here our video file name, which is cv.mp4. That's it. So it will capture our video file. Then this is the video size, the frame size, and here it is. As you can see, this is the folder images where we are going to save our images. So for that, first we want to create a images folder inside our repository. So let's just create here a new folder, new, and the folder name is basically images. As you can see, images. And then right click to the images folder, copy as a path, and we want to mention our path. Let me close assistant. So from images, from here, remove all these things, remove all the things, and just Ctrl+V press, and then it will paste our new path, the folder path. Simple. And just remove this double quote from here and also from here. Now it's perfect. Now it will save our images inside C users feed downloads YOLO8 custom vehicle main. This is what our repository. Again we have same folder, and inside that we create a images folder, and then the name of images we are going to mention here vehicles. You can change the name. You can change the name here. So I have mentioned the vehicles. So now it will create a 200 images with the name of vehicles, and the extension is basically .jpg. Simple. So let's just save the code, and if you run the code, it will start our video file, and now it's collecting the images, the 200 images from this video file, from our source file. That's it, we have done. Now simply if you open the repository where we create our images folder, open the folder, and as you can see, we have here all our images. 199, maybe one, as you can see, 199. So it created 200 images. Let me show you extra large icon. As you can see, this is the images which we basically capture from our video source. So as you can see, with the help of img.py, we collect our data, our images. Done. Now we have our images. Now we want to label these images. For that we need label img software. So a label img software is basically not work with a Python latest version. So we want a Python version. Let me show you here. If I go in run and config interpreter, here it is. As you can see, we need Python 3.8. So how to install Python 3.8? Let's just open Microsoft Store. Just open a Microsoft Store. Just a minute. So we open our Microsoft Store, and here we want to search for Python 3.8, as you can see. So just search for Python 3.8, and this is what Python 3.8 version which I have already installed. Simply you want to click here install button, and it will install Python 3.8. That's it. Then simply change the version on Python, Thony Python IDE. So for that, simply just go in run section, config interpreter, and here as you can see, we want to change our Python version. So just click here, and then you will see Python 3.8 exe. So just select Python 3.8 exe line, click on OK, and then you will see now we are working on Python 3.8.10 version. Simple. Now here open the tools, manage packages, and we are going to install our label img. So label img, just hit enter, first package, click on install, and it will install label img on your Windows machine, which I have already installed for Python 3.8. Simple. Now just go to the tools, open system shell, and here we want to run our label img command. So label img, just hit enter, and then it will open our label img software. That's it. So this is how you can simply install label img on Windows machine using Python 3.8 version. That's it. Now open dir, download YOLO8 custom vehicle main. This is what our repository, and from images simply select the images folder, select folder, and then we have our images. Change save dir, same, downloads YOLO8 custom vehicle main, again same folder, again images folder, select folder. That's it. We select open dir and we select change save dir folder. Now we want to draw a rectangle on our object. So here we want to select YOLO, then create rectangle box and start with our auto rickshaw. So just draw a rectangle on our object and label auto rickshaw. This is what our first class, auto rickshaw. Then again create rectangle box, draw the rectangle on auto rickshaw, select it and just save it. Again create rectangle box for this side, draw rectangle on auto rickshaw, click on OK. That's it. So I have drawn the rectangle box on auto rickshaw. Then again create rectangle box, and this is what our motorcycle. Simply draw a rectangle box and mention our new class name, which is motor-cycle. Motor-cycle. Click on OK. Done. Just save it and go to the next image. Now if you open your repository folder, again go to the downloads and repository, and inside images, as you can see, we have vehicle txt for 0, means we have inside that our rectangle box coordinate. Simple. Just close it. Now again the next image, create rectangle box, draw the rectangle box on auto rickshaw, select the class auto rickshaw, create rectangle box, draw the rectangle box on the motorcycle, select it motorcycle, click on OK, create rectangle box, also again here auto rickshaw, select auto rickshaw, create rectangle box, draw the rectangle box on auto rickshaw, select auto rickshaw class, click on OK, save it, go to the next image, same way, draw rectangle box, select auto rickshaw, click on OK, create rectangle box, draw the rectangle box on motorcycle, select motorcycle, click on OK, create rectangle box. Here also auto rickshaw, create rectangle box, auto rickshaw. Simple. So this is how you need to draw a rectangle box on your vehicle. So I have already done with label img. I have already drawn a rectangle box on auto rickshaw class, motorcycle class, bicycle class, and the car class, which I have already shown you in a video file. So this is how you need to simply use a label img, draw the rectangle box and train your images. Simple. So let me close label img. Because I have already trained the images, so I am going to simply move my folder inside our repository. So I will move my folder inside downloads and drone vehicle images. As you can see, the images folder, I have already saved all the images with their txt file. Inside that txt file we have our rectangle box coordinate. So simply let me close all these things, and then I will move the images folder. So right click, copy inside our YOLO8 custom vehicle main. Oh sorry, okay, that's it. We have now our folder inside our main repository. So this is what our images folder with images and their rectangle text file. That's it. So we have done with a label EMG. Now what we want to do, we want to create a freedom tag folder. So let's just create a new freedom tag folder. So new folder, freedom tag, that's it, freedom tag. And inside that freedom tag folder, again we want to create a two folder, which is images and label. So right click, new folder, images and labels. Simple, images and labels. Again go to the images folder, and here we want to create training and validation folder. Training, and the new folder which is validation. Training and validation inside images folder, and again go back, and same way in labels folder we are going to create training and validation folder. So training, and here also validation. That's it. So we create a freedom tag folder. Inside that freedom tag we create a labels and images folder, and inside images folder we create a validation and trading folder. Same way inside labels we create validation and trading folder. Now go back, and from images copy all the things, copy it, and just paste all the things inside freedom tag, images, training, paste it, go back, and same way inside validation, paste it, go back, and again go to the labels, training, paste all the things, go back, and validation, paste all the things. That's it. So from images we want to copy all these things with the images and their txt file, and we want to paste all these things inside freedom tag folder, images folder, training folder, then validation folder also. Then go back and go to the labels, training, paste all the things, and validation, paste all the things. That's it. Now simply we want to create a freedom tag.zip format file. So right click to the freedom tag folder, WinRAR, and just go to the add to archive .zip, freedom tag.zip, click on OK, and it will create our freedom tag.zip file. That's it. We create our freedom tag.zip. Now we want to simply move our file on our Google Drive. So let's just open your Google Drive. So I have opened my Google Drive, and here right click, click on file upload, and this is what our freedom tag.zip inside our repository YOLO8 custom vehicle main. This is the freedom tag.zip. Just click on open. Now it will upload our freedom tag.zip on our Google Drive. So meanwhile we want to simply upload our Google Colab file. So just open the Google Colab, click on upload, go to the browse, and again inside the repository I have mentioned the Google Colab training file for YOLO8. Just select it, click on open. Now it's uploading our Google Colab file on Google Colab. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully uploaded our file Google Colab. Now go to the runtime, change runtime type, select Python 3, select T4 GPU, click on save, and then just click on connect. And then friends, as you can see, we have successfully connected. Now simply we are going to run our cell one by one. So just run first cell, then the second cell, which basically install our Ultralytics. Done. Now the next cell where we are going to import our module from Ultralytics import YOLO. So just select the next cell. Done. Now we are going to cross check if the Ultralytics means if the YOLO8 is perfectly working or not. So simply we are going to use a RoboFlow, and from RoboFlow we are going to use the one image which is doc.jpeg, and the result is basically saved inside our runs detect predict folder. Means our Ultralytics is perfectly working. Now we want to simply mount our Google Drive. So let's just cross check our file is uploaded. So yes, our file is successfully uploaded. As you can see, one upload is completed. Now simply run our next cell. With the help of this code, we are going to simply mount our Google Drive. So permit this notebook to access your Google Drive files. Click on connect to Google Drive. Select the Gmail ID which you use for Google Drive, where you save, or we can say where you upload the freedomtech.zip, which is our database, not database basically, which is our data set. So now it's mounting. As you can see, freedomtech.zip. Simple. Now what we want to do, we want to simply unzip our freedomtech.zip. So just run the next cell and it will unzip our data set. Simple, as you can see. So we have done. Now simply we want to create a data.yaml file. So just click on this folder, dataset, then freedom tech, and here just click on these three buttons. As you can see, three dots. Just click on it, click on the new file, and then we are going to create our data.yaml file. So data.yaml, just hit enter. It will create data.yaml empty file. Just click on the file, and then as you can see, it will open our file. This is the empty file. So inside that we want to copy paste our code. So just open our repository again, and here I have mentioned the data.txt file. Just open the data.txt, copy all the things from here, copy it, just close it, and just paste over here in data.yaml. Now what we want to do, we want to simply open our images folder where we have our all the data. As you can see, the text file and our images which we train with the help of label emg. Simple. So here we have classes.txt file. Just open that classes.txt file, and we want to mention our classes name like this way. So first one is basically auto-rikshaw. So here remove the surfing and mention auto-rikshaw. Auto-rikshaw, this is what our first class. Then the second class is basically motorcycle. So mention here like this way, motor hyphen cycle, motorcycle. Then the next class, which is bicycle, so just mention the bicycle. Okay, done. Now simply the last one is basically the car, so mention it car. Simple. As you can see, you want to mention the classes inside data.yml from the images where we have classes.txt file. The auto-rikshaw, so first one is auto-rikshaw, next one is motorcycle. So here I have mentioned the motorcycle, then bicycle, so I have mentioned the bicycle, then the car, last one, so I have mentioned the car. Now how many classes? 1, 2, 3, 4. So just number of classes, mention 4. That's it, done. Now simply press Ctrl plus S, save the data.yml file, and now we are ready. We are going to simply start our training with 100 epochs. So it will take some time. So let's just start our next cell and it will start our training. So friends, as you can see, it started our training 100, 1 out of 100. So it will take some time. Meanwhile, I will pause video. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully completed our training and our model is basically saved inside runs detect train folder. So just go here and go to the runs folder. Then we have detect folder. then we have train folder, as you can see, runs, detect and train folder, and inside that we have weights folder. Just click on the weights folder, and then we have here base.pt, our model, our custom model. So just click on here, click on download, and it will download our base.pt model. And done. As you can see friends, we have successfully downloaded our base.pt model. So just open downloads folder, and this is what our base.pt model. So we want to move our model inside our repository. Right click, click on cut, and YOLO8 custom vehicle main, again same folder, and inside that simply paste our base.pt model. So friends, we have our model ready. So now simply we are going to run our test.py, where we have our object detection YOLO8 basic code. So let me close img.py, and we want to change our Python version because we change our Python version for level img. So we want to again change our version. So go to the run config interpreter and select the first python.exe, which is a latest version, which is Python 3.10 version. Now I have mentioned here base.pt, then we have to mention here a video file. So we need to mention our video file name. So our video file name is basically cv.mp4. So cv.mp4, that's it, cv.mp4, and the coco1.txt, because we create our own class. So we want to mention our we need to create our coco1.txt file inside our main repository. So let's just create a new text document, and mention the name coco1.txt. Let's just open, and here we want to simply mention first auto-rikshaw, then our second class is motorcycle, then our next class is bicycle, and our last class is basically car. Auto-rikshaw, motorcycle, bicycle, and the car. Let's just save it coco1.txt and close it. That's it. Now we are ready, and I have already opened our test.py. So coco1.txt file which we create, and then we have our basic object detection code. As you can see, we have our rectangle, then we are reading basically our classes from our coco1.txt file. So C is equal to our class list, and then we are going to put the class name on the top left corner of the rectangle, and then we have cv2.rectangle x1, x2 and y2 coordinates. It will draw the rectangle on our detected object. Simple. So let's just freeze our frame, save the code and run the code. And friends, as you can see, we are detecting our own custom vehicle classes. There is a auto-rickshaw. Let me create here a condition, then we will get the idea. We are going to detect the class one by one. So let's just say if auto-rickshaw if the auto-rickshaw in our C is basically our class list. So if the auto-rickshaw in this C, then only we are going to draw all these things. Then only we are going to put our class name on the rectangle, then we are going to draw a rectangle. So now it will detect only auto-rickshaw from our video file. So as you can see, because I have freeze the frame, so if I press any key from keyboard, the frame is now skipping, moving. As you can see, we are detecting only the auto-rickshaw which basically moving. The traffic which moving only we are going to detect. So auto-rickshaw is moving, and our goal is to detect our custom vehicle classes. For that we create our own model with the help of YOLO8, and as you can see our model is perfectly working. Now there is no auto rickshaw moving in the traffic. Now there is a car, as you can see there is a car, and then there is a motorcycle, as you can see there is a motorcycle, and now there is a auto rickshaw. Here it is, as you can see auto rickshaw. Now it's detecting auto rickshaw and is going, and here it is also, as you can see there is another auto rickshaw. So we detecting our auto rickshaw class. Now if you simply mention here our next class, let's just say motor hyphen cycle. Now it will detect only the motorcycle from our video file. And as you can see this is basically motorcycle. So now it's detecting motorcycle. This one is also a motorcycle. Simple. So we successfully create our own custom model which basically detect our own custom vehicle class. Simple. Now let's just first use our tracker only for one class, which is auto rickshaw. Auto rickshaw. Then we will get the idea. Simple. So auto rickshaw is our class, and then we want to use our tracker. So I have mentioned from tracker import tracker, means inside that inside repository I have mentioned tracker.py, and if you open the tracker.py, we have here class tracker, T is capital. I have explained all these things in several times in previous video. So from tracker file we are going to call our all the things from tracker basically first. So for that I have mentioned import all the things. Then here it is, as you can see we want to create a tracker variable which represent our tracker class. So T is capital, from tracker.py T is capital. So simply here mention like this way, tracker. That's it. So we call our tracker in this particular variable. Now we want to use our tracker. So how our tracker will work? Simple. For tracker we want to send object rectangle coordinates. That's it. So if there is an auto rickshaw, we are going to create our list. So let's just say list dot append, and inside that we want to pass our x1, y1, x2 and y2, x1, y1, x2 and y2. That's it, done. Now here we want to simply mention list. As you can see I have mentioned list is equal to empty. Now we have our rectangle coordinates inside the list, so we can simply call here. So here after list dot append, just hit enter and come where we start our for loop on in that particular line. Here it is, as you can see where we start our for loop in that particular line. After list dot append we want to create a new variable which is bbox idx. You can mention any variable. Simple. This is just a variable. bbox hyphen idx is equal to our tracker variable, because we want to call our tracker. So our tracker variable tracker dot, and inside that tracker we have update function. So simply we want to mention tracker dot our function name which is update. Done. And we are going to update our list, because inside that list we are detecting our object. So we have now the object rectangle coordinates. So if we want to use our tracker, we want to send our rectangle coordinates. So simply we want to pass the list. That's it. Now simply for bbox in, this bbox idx, for bbox in bbox idx. Now because we are now using our tracker, so with the help of tracker we will get again new rectangle coordinates, because our tracker will track the object with the help of rectangle coordinates. So of course it will again create new rectangle coordinates. Also it will assign the unique ID for each auto rickshaw. Each auto rickshaw we have now unique ID. So x3, y3, x4, y4, and the new variable is basically the ID. All these things is equal to our B box. That's it. Now then we are going to draw our rectangle, and then we are going to put the ID, unique ID on the rectangle top left corner. So here instead of C, now we want to mention the ID, and this rectangle coordinates we want to change with new coordinates, which is x3, y3, x4 and y4. Done. Now if you save the code and if you run the code, now we have the ID on auto rickshaw rectangle corner, top left corner. So here as you can see I have mentioned the motorcycle. Let me check here what is happening. It's detecting auto rickshaw, but I think we want to change our put text rect coordinate also, because now it will put our text on new rectangle coordinate. So I have mentioned here x1 the old coordinate, so we want to change this x1 and y1 a rectangle top left corner with new one, which is the x3 and y3. That's why there is a problem. So x3 and y3. Now if you save the code, if you run the code, now there you go. As you can see, there is a rectangle on the auto rickshaw and there is a ID on the auto rickshaw. So for this auto rickshaw we have one unique ID. As you can see, one is the ID for this auto rickshaw. For this auto rickshaw we have 2 ID, for this we have 0. So it means our tracker is perfectly working. As you can see, there is a ID, the unique ID for the auto rickshaw. Because we select right now only one class from all traffic, we only want to detect a one class, which is auto rickshaw. That's why it's detecting and it's tracking and it's assigning the ID only for auto rickshaw class. Now I am skipping basically frames one by one. So now there is a car, there is a bicycle also. As you can see, there is a bicycle, but it's not tracking. There is no rectangle because we mention here if auto rickshaw. So now as you can see, there is auto rickshaw. We have auto rickshaw. For this auto rickshaw we have 13 ID. That's it. Now we successfully detect the object with our custom model. We track our object, we assign the ID. Now we want our region of interest area. Instead of tracking our object all the area, we are going to track our object in particular area. That's why here it is. As you can see, I have drawn a line, cv2.line method. Here it is. As you can see, I have drawn the line on the frame. There is a 2 line. So for this, for drawing line, we need start xy point, end xy point. So we have here our mouse function. Here it is. As you can see, the mouse function. So when you move your mouse on the frame, you will get the xy coordinates, and simply with the help of this xy coordinates you can simply draw a line. So this is how I have draw the line with the help of mouse event function. I have get the xy coordinates and I have mentioned the xy start xy line coordinate and end xy line coordinate, and with the help of these coordinates I have draw the line on the frame. So I have already mentioned, for this scenario I have already mentioned the coordinates with line function. So that's why here it is. As you can see, there is a line on the frame. Simple. So now we done with detection, tracking, we have our region of interest area. Now what we can say, we are going to create here a condition. We can simply say when the auto rickshaw rectangle center point touch our line, then only we want to draw a rectangle, then only we want to track our vehicle, then only we want to assign the ID. Otherwise there we don't want to do anything. Simple. For that, first we need a center point. So let's just call our center point. So cx is equal to int and x3 plus x4 divided by 2, then cy is equal to int and y3 plus y4 divided by 2. Simple. This is how we will get our center point for each rectangle. So now CV2 dot circle, and we are going to draw our circle on the frame, and then we want to mention here Cx and Cy, our circle coordinates, then the radius 4, and the color, let's just say blue, so 25500, and because we want to fill our circle, so we want to mention a -1. Now there is a center point for each auto rickshaw. And as you can see, for this auto rickshaw we have blue color center point, for this auto rickshaw we have blue color center point, for this auto rickshaw we have blue color center point. So this is what our condition. When the auto rickshaw rectangle center point, if it is touch our line, then only we are going to detect and all other things. Simple. So let's just say this is what our first line. So we can simply say here this 580 is basically x, start x and end x. So instead of mentioning number, we are going to say here that this is basically our Cx1. So simply here we want to mention Cx1 is equal to 580. Cx1 is equal to 580. So instead of 580, we are going to simply mention Cx1. And now for our knowing purpose, let's just comment the next line and Cx1. So same coordinates, we only mention the, instead of number we mention Cx1, we mention here Cx1, and this Cx1 is basically our x coordinate for line 580. So the line will be same, only we mention, instead of number only we mention the variable. Here it is, as you can see there is a line. So this is what our first line. So now we can say here our condition. Here after where we have Cx and Cy, we can simply say, but first we want to mention here our offset. So let's just say offset is equal to 6. Offset is equal to 6 for this particular scenario, and then we are going to simply mention here after Cx and Cy, we are going to create our condition. So we are going to say if the center point means, for here we are going to use a Cx, okay. So if the center point, the Cx, if it is in between the Cx1, so let's just say here, if the Cx1 if less than Cx, this Cx center point plus our offset and Cx1, if it is greater than Cx minus offset. If Cx1 dedicated for this line, which is, let's just say, first line, and I have comment the second line, so that's why there is only one line on the frame. So for this line we mention here Cx1 is basically our 580, the line x coordinate. So instead of number we mention the variable, the Cx1. Simple, because the Cx1 is now 580. So instead of number here, instead of mentioning the x coordinate, the number coordinate, we mention the Cx1. That's it. Now our condition is what? When our rectangle center point touch our line, so for the line we want to say the Cx1, the x coordinate. So Cx1, here it is, as you can see I have mentioned the cx1. If the cx1 less than our cx, the center point, plus offset, and cx1 if it is greater than the center point cx and minus offset, then only we are going to draw a circle, put the text id and the rectangle. Now this is the condition, means this condition is basically what? This condition, when the rectangle center point touch our line, then only we have rectangle and all other things on our auto rickshaw, because we only select here only one class. That's it. So now as you can see here, no rectangle, nothing, no center point, no tracking, no id, nothing. But let me skip the frame one by one. So now this auto rickshaw will touch our line, and as you can see, there is a rectangle, there is a center point, all is there. It means our condition is perfectly worked. Now when auto rickshaw pass our line, again there is nothing. Again there is nothing. Now second auto rickshaw is coming, and when the auto rickshaw center point touch our line, there is a rectangle, there is a 2 id, and when auto rickshaw pass our area, again there is nothing. Simple. That's it. Now when our auto rickshaw touch our line, we want to save their current position and their id inside a dictionary. For that, here we want to create a new dictionary, which is, let's just say, what we can say, we want to create a variable up a, let's just say auto rickshaw up a is equal to our empty dictionary. Simple. And here when we match our condition here, if cx and all other things, cx, if the center point of our rectangle touch our line, after that we are going to save the id and the current position inside our dictionary. Simple. So for that we want to create here up a, which is our dictionary. This one up a, and we want to mention their id is equal to the current position is basically their cx and cy. So let's just mention cx and cy. That's it. Now when our condition match, inside our dictionary we are saving their id and their current position. So let's just print here our dictionary, which is up a. Save the code, run the code. And now as you can see, the dictionary is basically empty, because right now no auto rickshaw cross our area, so dictionary is empty. So when our auto rickshaw center point touch our line, and then as you can see there is a one id for this auto rickshaw, and when the auto rickshaw touch our line, in that time the coordinates, it's basically the center point coordinate is basically 580 and 417. It means we are saving each auto rickshaw id inside our dictionary. Now we have a data. We know that our auto rickshaw is basically crossing our area, because we are saving each auto rickshaw particular id. For this auto rickshaw, as you can see, we have 2 id, so we are saving their id inside our dictionary. Now we know that the auto rickshaw is crossing our area, because we are saving their id and their current position. Done. So we have done. So far so good. Now how to know that the auto rickshaw is basically going upside? For that we want our next area. So for that I have create a next line. So if you save and if you run the code again, because I have uncommented this line, so it will show our next line. And as you can see, now this is what our another line. So what we are going to do, let's just cross check which is our first line, and if you want to change the coordinates, we can simply change the coordinates. So cv2.line frame So what we can do here, we can simply put the text as a line 1 and line 2, then we will get the idea. So just copy the put text method, just paste it, and what we are going to do here, let's just mention here like this way 1, simple, and then the coordinates we want to mention 580 and 363, 580 and 363. If I save the code, if I run the code, and as you can see, so this is what our first line, and here again copy paste all these things, and just we want to change only the coordinates, also 1 with the 2, and this time we are going to mention this side coordinates. So 598 and 363, instead of 363 we are going to mention 499. Save the code and run the code. And as you can see, this is what our first line and this is what our second line. Simple. So now we have the idea. So this is basically our second line and this is basically our first line. So now if we start our frame, I am skipping the frame one by one. So right now our auto rickshaw is touching basically first line, which is this one, the CX1. Simple, because we mention here a CX1. Okay. Now as I mentioned, we want to know that the auto rickshaw is basically going up or down. So here inside the frame, when auto rickshaw touch our first line, after that we are saving their ID, their current position, and then the same auto rickshaw will cross our second line. Why? Because we are saving their ID inside the dictionary, so we can simply call that particular ID from our dictionary and we can create the new condition, only detect or only track those auto rickshaw which already cross our first area, because we are saving their ID inside our dictionary. So we can say only count those ID which already we are saving inside our dictionary. If there is no ID inside our dictionary, that particular auto rickshaw will not count, because that particular auto rickshaw is not cross our first line. Simple. So here, now same way for second line we want to create here CX2. Instead of number we are going to create a new variable CX2. Here also CX2 is equal to our x coordinate for second line is basically 598. Where is here? 598. 598. Simple. And then we are going to change this number with CX2. That's it. Now we are saving their ID inside our dictionary. So our auto rickshaw is already cross our first line. So for first line, this is the condition CX1. After that, we are saving their ID. Now we have their ID and their current position inside our UPA, a dictionary. After that, we have the ID. So simply we can call the ID from our dictionary. If the ID in our UPA dictionary, after that, same condition, only this time our auto rickshaw will touch our second line. So for second line we want to mention CX2, all other things are same, and after that we are going to draw a circle, we are going to draw a rectangle. Save the code and run the code. So now watch. Right now there is nothing. The auto rickshaw will touch our first line. It's already touched our first line, because when it touch our first line, we are saving their ID and their current position inside our dictionary. So auto rickshaw is already crossed our first line. So same auto rickshaw is now cross our second line, and as you can see, now there is a rectangle and there is a center point, because we create a condition. If the ID inside our dictionary, only that particular ID will check the second line. Simple. So for that, the same auto rickshaw cross our first line, we are saving their ID, and if the same auto rickshaw if cross our second line, then there is a rectangle and other things are there. Simple. Now simply we can create a counter. After that, what is our counter? Our counter is basically our ID, because we are saving a unique ID. So simply counter A up. Let's just say counter A up means the auto rickshaw up. So here we want to create counter A up is equal to empty list, and then we are going to say counter A up dot append, and what we are going to append? Simple. We are going to append their ID, because the ID is basically the unique ID for each auto rickshaw. And because when the auto rickshaw cross our first area and second area, meanwhile it will check the same ID again and again. It will count the same ID again and again, because it will take some time. For that, we are going to simply create a condition. If, because I have explained all these things in several times in previous videos, I have created the separate playlist. You can simply watch the playlist. So if counter A up dot count function, and what we are going to count? We are going to count their ID is equal to 0, means please don't count same ID again and again. This is what our condition. Now if we print here counter A up, and counter A up is the ID is basically the list, because we are saving their ID inside the list. So the length of list is basically the number of count, the number of auto rickshaw counts. So mention here length function, and then we can simply say save the code and run the code. Now we are counter. We have now counter for going upside for the auto rickshaw. Simple. So now as you can see, 0 auto rickshaw is basically upside count. Now watch. For this auto rickshaw, counter is basically 0 right now. When the auto rickshaw cross our second line, and then we have counter. We count one auto rickshaw, friends. We count one auto rickshaw is basically going upside. Now there is second auto rickshaw is coming. When it cross our second line, then we have 2, means we count 2 auto rickshaw. Now just watch. It will only count upside auto rickshaw, because we create a counter only for upside, not for downside. So when there is a auto rickshaw for the downside, it will not count. It will not detect, because we create a condition. So car is there. So now there is a auto rickshaw. As you can see, there is a auto rickshaw. And as you can see, there is no rectangle, there is nothing, because we only create a counter for going upside. Also the counter is same, the 2, because we are not counting downside auto rickshaw. Done. Now if you change the vehicle class, let's just say motor hyphen motorcycle. Now it will detect the motorcycle for going upside and it will count the upside motorcycle frequency. Watch for this motorcycle. This motorcycle is not detected because it's not crossing our area already. So there is a 0. So when the motorcycle cross our line, which is second line, there is a rectangle, there is a ID, and inside the shell we have counter. We count one motorcycle. That's it, as you can see. And here it is, as you can see, this motorcycle is basically going downside, but it will not detect, it will not count, because we create a counter, we create our condition only for upside vehicle. As you can see, nothing. Simple. So this is how you can simply create a counter for going upside. You need to simply change the class names. That's it. So let's just go with our first class, which is the auto-rikshaw. Auto-rikshaw. Now we create a counter for going upside. Now same way, only reverse the condition. Same way we are going to create a counter for downside. But for downside, the auto-rikshaw will first cross our area 2, the CX2, and the same auto-rikshaw will cross our area 1, which is CX1. So here, let's just mention like this way. And then we are going to copy all the code from here, copy it, and just paste it. Check it is in line from if. Just paste it. Done. As you can see, this also will go here. If it is in line, let's just cross check. Okay, need to be little bit back. Here also need to be little bit back. Now it's in line. That's it. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to only change our variable and we are going to reverse our condition. So first, auto-rikshaw will touch our second line. So here, instead of CX1, we are going to mention CX2. All the conditions are same, and up A means the variable, the dictionary variable which we create, we are going to simply mention down A. Down A is equal to empty dictionary, and then we want to create a counter A down. Counter A down is equal to empty list. Counter A down is equal to empty list. So we create our dictionary. Also we create our we want to save the ID in list format for counter, so we create that variable also. And then first it will touch our CX2, then down A, we are saving their ID, their current position. Then if ID in down A, if ID inside down A means auto-rikshaw, if the auto-rikshaw is going downside, first it will touch our second line, then we are saving their ID, their current position inside the dictionary. So if the ID inside down A, then the same ID will cross our line 1, so CX1. Instead of CX2, we are going to mention CX1, and then we are going to draw all these things. So for our purpose, we are going to change the color. So let's just say here we are going to mention a red color. And then instead of counter A up, we are going to mention counter A down. Counter A down. Counter A down. And if we print here, this is for upside and this is for downside, same way, counter A down, counter A down. Just save the code and run the code. Now all counter is basically 0 because we not count anything. So for upside we count one auto-rikshaw, then this one is basically our second auto-rikshaw. So we count upside, we count two auto-rickshaws. So there is a 2 inside shell, as you can see. So I am continuously skipping a frame because right now there is no auto rickshaw, there is motorcycle, there is a bicycle, but there is no auto rickshaw is moving. Now there is a car coming. Here it is, as you can see. There is a motorcycle going downside. Now there is an auto rickshaw, as you can see. Now watch the downside counter. We count one auto rickshaw going downside, and then we have second auto rickshaw. We count two auto rickshaw for going downside. Upside we count two auto rickshaw, and that's it, because our video file is over. But there is a three auto rickshaw which basically going downside. So it will of course count the third one auto rickshaw is also. Simple. So same way you have to create all the condition for each classes, because if you want to create a counter, you need to track each class separately. So if you want to create a counter for motorcycle, you need to simply mention all these things separately for each class. For our purpose, simply I am going to change the classes. So we are done with auto rickshaw for both sides. So simply if you mention here motor hyphen cycle, it will same work. Now it will only track the motorcycle for both sides, and it will count the motorcycle frequency for both sides, for going downside and the upside. So watch, there is a motorcycle. Here it is, as you can see, this one. So we counted upside one motorcycle. Now there is this one motorcycle is basically going downside. I am skipping a frame. So watch, as you can see, we detect, and here it is, as you can see, one downside, one upside, the motorcycle, because we select a motorcycle class. So now we want to track and count a motorcycle, so two motorcycle we count. Simple. So this is how, friends, this is how you can create your own custom vehicle class detection model. You can create a counter, also you can track the vehicle. I hope you will learn something from this video. We'll meet our next video. Till then, thank you, take care, and bye bye.